So we're back to Caleb and Sophia videos. For those of you who might not know, these are really high quality animations put out by Jehovah's Witnesses to show to kids. They've had some pretty disgusting, heinous Caleb and Sophia videos. One of their more famous videos was about how it was wrong that Sophia's classmate had two moms. It gets pretty bad. Some of these are fairly mundane lessons like don't lie, be nice, that kind of thing. But they all tie back into their cult doctrine in some really specific way. And some of them are overt about it, like telling kids to obey Jehovah. And who speaks for Jehovah? The governing body members do, of course. The first one in the list is video lesson number 21. You can be patient. Let's get into it.
I wish it would stop raining so I could go outside.
Aw, I wish you could go outside too. But we need the rain, so plants can grow and we can have things to eat. It's a good thing.
Okay, sounds like a solid message so far, but I'd be willing to bet that they're gonna find a way to ruin it. Remember, these videos are shown to random kids by Jehovah's Witnesses with the claim that they just teach kids good things, like being obedient, for example. That's the line Jehovah's Witnesses are taught to give people when they offer up the videos to their kids. It's just useful lessons from which anybody could derive benefit. I just want to make note that the word obedient has very specific connotations, and I don't believe obedience is virtuous at all. In my mind, at the very least, obedience means following instructions without asking questions. I think that's inherently bad. Questions and doubt are healthy parts of everything, and that's one of the signs of a cult, the fact that they discourage questioning and doubt in favor of blind loyalty. In the case of this specific video, so far at least, they haven't said anything strange or questionable, just talking about how you should be patient, though the only reason they're talking about how great patience is because it's a fruitage of the Holy Spirit, or it's supposed to be a sign that God's Spirit is with you. Let's continue on and see if this is a legit video or if they somehow managed to slip God in under our noses.
Even Jehovah waits for things, so he knows how we feel. There have been lots of things wrong with the world for thousands of years. Jehovah wants to fix them all. But he's waiting for just the right time to do it.
Well then, didn't take them long to turn the discussion religious. It's actually something they're trained to do. Always find a way to relate every discussion back to Jehovah. If you're talking to a non-member, it's a good opportunity to give a witness, as they call it. And if you're with a believer, then it's a good way to strengthen yours and their faith. Keep them focused on a single thing 24/7. But aside from that, didn't they say,
he's waiting for just the right time to do it?
This isn't the right time? We have kids starving to death right now. What the f*** are we waiting for? Get it together already. The longer we wait, the more people die. Right now, at this very moment, somewhere in the world, there's a little kid who just took her last breath because there wasn't enough food or clean water where she lives. A victim of circumstance. If God just decided to get it together and end all this suffering already, she'd still be alive right now. But no, he wants to wait for the Watchtower Society to send their slave labor out across the world to hand out tracts to every person on earth.
Jehovah must be so bored.
Not even a little bit, because he stays busy doing good things, like teaching us and taking care of the preaching work.
Instead of just putting it in people's heads in the first place. It's God, right? Couldn't he just make us all know and understand? When I ask that question, usually I get a response like, if God told you that he was real, then you wouldn't need faith. Yeah, that's true. You wouldn't need faith. But what is faith? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, according to the Bible. But here's my hang-up. If you need faith, then you don't have evidence. If you have evidence, then you don't need faith. So faith is basically believing something without evidence, for lack of a better term. Why is that virtuous? Why should we strive to believe things without evidence? Who ever thought that was a good idea? There's no evidence that the earth is flat. Is it virtuous to believe it anyways? Is it virtuous to believe in Islam with zero evidence? What about Buddhism? No, that's stupid. Of course it isn't. So why would it be virtuous in this one very specific case? If God wanted us to believe, he would give us evidence that couldn't possibly be disputed. He supposedly knows our brains inside and out, right? He has the hairs on our head numbered. Can't he just leave a message in our minds clear as day? I exist. Now go join Jehovah's Witnesses because they have the right version of everything. You know what? It. I saw a little girl die a minute ago from lack of food and it made me fucking sick. I'm destroying everything right now. Why did I ever wait this long in the first place? Why would God wait until Jehovah's Witnesses passed out magazines to every person on earth before he took it all down? Doesn't he know everything? Doesn't he already know who's going to be receptive and who won't? Can't he just scrap the bad guys and keep the good guys and save that little girl's life?
Look, it stopped raining.
The rain always stops eventually. You just have to be patient. And since you helped me with the dishes, so nice of you, now I can take you to the park.
Yes! I'm a frog, Ribbit. Frogs live in the mud. Cannonball!
No, wait! Ah.
That was absolutely the cheesiest ending in the history of endings. But notice what's happening here. Caleb is reading the Bible storybook while he waits for his clothes to dry. Some of their literature, of course. They could have just put the kids standing there in front of the dryer, but they couldn't leave it there. They had to take it a step further. Push kids to immerse themselves in Jehovah's Witness literature while you're at it. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Jehovah's name. This is going to be interesting.
Ugh, I can't do this.
How's your talk coming?
Terrible. Maybe someone else could do this.
Do you remember what Jehovah's name means?
He causes to become?
Yes, he can become anything he needs to get great things done. And he can also help others to become what he wants them to be.
Nope, that's not what Jehovah means. Jehovah is a made-up name. It was made up when people mashed YHWH together with the word Adonai. Jehovah couldn't have possibly been the name, since J's didn't exist until a few hundred years ago. And when J's finally did come along, they got worked into the name over time. So Jehovah doesn't mean he causes to become. Jehovah doesn't mean anything at all. Just thought I'd put that out there.
Think about it. Jehovah is the creator. Think of all the animals he's made.
Huh? Whoa!
Wow, that's a big whale.
Huh?
He created our universe. Look at all the planets he made.
Whoa!
Yeah, I get this question a lot. Are Jehovah's Witnesses young Earth creationists? And the short answer is no, they aren't young Earth creationists. The longer answer is that they're old Earth creationists. They don't know how long the days are in Genesis, basically. They think God created everything in a bunch of time past, and finally he created Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, and all that other junk. So they think dinosaurs lived separately from humans. They don't think we rode them around like horses. But their beliefs aren't much better. They still think Adam and Eve were real, literal people. They still think Cain took one of his sisters as his wife and populated the entire earth with her. They still think Noah's flood was a real, literal story. So I'm not letting them off the hook here. They still have bizarre beliefs, and they still homeschool their kids a lot of the time so they can keep them away from biology classes. As far as I can remember, I never had a single biology class, not one, except for a human anatomy and physiology class in high school. But then I dropped out. If the kids do end up having biology classes though, they just make sure they spend lots of time teaching them that it's wrong. They have a whole book about it, and Richard Dawkins took the time to debunk a few pages of it in his book, The God Delusion, which is an interesting read if you guys haven't read it yet. Okay, let's continue.
Jehovah can make us powerful too. Look at Moses. He took a shy man and used him to split the Red Sea. If he can do all of that, do you think he can help you pronounce hard names and get prepared for your talk?
Yeah.
But of course, to receive his help, you have to ask him for it.
His name was Mephibosheth, the sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite. Recap.
Right, I figured I should probably give a little explanation here. I'm sure we're all familiar with 1 Timothy 2:12. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. There are female members of the congregation who've been involved in the church for 50 years. They know the subject material backwards and forwards, but instead of getting one of them up on stage to talk about it, they get little boys up there to read from the Bible, because they have this weird idea that men are superior to women. But I've been giving talks since I was like 10. When you're really young, they'll try to get you up on stage to read certain passages from the Bible, and it makes you feel really special, like you're disseminating information to the congregation, because that's kind of what you're doing. When I was little, they had something called the Theocratic Ministry School, and the accompanying guidebook that was given to men who were of a certain age. We'd read through it, and it taught us how to do public speaking, making eye contact, letting your voice carry, being careful how much you use crutch words like and that kind of thing. The book was practically falling apart by the time I got done with it. I loved the public speaking thing, so it's nice that I found myself on YouTube. I kind of still do public speaking. Anyways, that's what's happening in this video. Caleb had a talk on the ministry school, where he was supposed to read a few verses from the Bible, and Jehovah helped him figure out how to read the hard names. Obviously, it wasn't his own hard work. It was Jehovah. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys. Don't forget to check out my Patreon if you want to support my work. YouTube is really volatile. It's hard to tell what I'm going to make from month to month with it, so it helps having something as reasonably stable as Patreon. Also, take a look at my podcast where I read extremist literature once a week. I also talk to guests and stuff, so check it out. It's pretty interesting. All links are in the description as always. Thanks for watching, guys.